Hello again, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel, where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum, and this is another installment of Do-It-Yourself Budget Hot Rodding. On Do-It-Yourself Budget Hot Rodding, we love our cars, and we love going to car meets and car shows whenever possible. That being said, I run into a lot of you younger ones that your heart's in the right place, but you sound like a douchebag. So what I did was I sat down and thought about this for a good little while and found about 5 things that just get under my skin. There's actually a lot more, but these are the 5 that I just felt were the most important to really talk about. So let's not jerk around, let's get on with it, and let's get to the very first one. Number 1, I'm a gearhead, not a car guy. Car guy sounds too much like car enthusiast, and not that there's anything wrong with a car enthusiast, but there's a lot of YouTubers out there already who are great at being car enthusiasts. They know all about the vehicle, they know a great deal about, basically they read the brochure. Ask them about certain things about the engine, maybe the bore stroke, in cubic inch displacement, all that good stuff. They don't have a clue. This is, they know all about the brochure specs, and there's nothing wrong with that. Car enthusiasts, they do a great job on YouTube, and I love what they provide. It's a lot of times for younger hot rodders, it's a great way to get their foot in the door just by getting them interested in the specs. Then there's a second type of mechanic, if you will. At this point now we're getting into the actual mechanics, and that would be your shade tree mechanic. Now this is the guy that on the weekend comes home, he works on his car, basically doing like an oil change, a tune-up, whatever the case may be, general routine maintenance, and then Monday morning he's going back and forth to work with his car, and that's a shade tree mechanic. And there's actually one in particular that I do follow, and that would be the Scotty Kilmer channel. Great shade tree mechanic, and a professional mechanic at that. Been doing it a very long time. Great deal of insight. Definitely you should check out his channel. But then there's your gearheads, your hot rodders, the ones like that customize their car for whatever reason other than they just want to. And if you are, whether you're taking your vehicle to a shop to customize it to fit your needs, whether it's on the drag strip, on some crazy track, off-road, or you just want to go to car shows, that is hot rodding. So please don't call me a car guy. I'm a gearhead. I'm a hot rodder. Let's leave it at that. Number 2 on my list. A lot of you out there still make this mistake. Please don't do this anymore, okay? I've had a lot of you come up to me and say, start talking about NOS, and then the next thing you're doing is showing me something from Nitrous Express. No. You have Nitrous from Nitrous Express. You don't have NOS. Unless you have a system from the company Nitrous Oxide Systems, you do not have NOS otherwise, okay? Plain and simple, you sound like a douchebag, okay? Moving on, let's look at my number 3. Performance packages are a joke. If you went out and bought the latest and greatest in Super Sport Camaros or Cobra Mustang, whatever the case may be, you just bought the biggest, most expensive joke in the market, okay? I don't care all about the numbers that it does from the factory, and that the fact that you could put this turbo on and that, and there's always going to be that one guy out there who's going to rewrite the rule books, do a build on a more basic version of that vehicle, and your performance package doesn't mean jack crap. Now, performance packages are a good way to get a good start, but it's not really even a thing. Case in point, in the old days, someone who bought the latest and greatest Z28 Camaro back in the 1960s, say like the 1969 Z28 Camaro, guess what? it wouldn't take long that the hot rodders like myself would turn right around and build something even nastier than that. So don't think just because you have the latest and the greatest performance package on your sports car from the factory that it can't be beat, okay? Performance packages are a joke. Moving on. A lot of you young ones like to make this mistake, and this will be number 4. It's all about horsepower. I love listening to you because you all sound like douchebags when you sit there and just talk about horsepower. My car generates X amount of horsepower. Great. What's it getting in the quarter mile? How much torque does it have? What's the gear ratio? And you're all looking at me sideways. Do you see my point here? For those of you who I just lost, okay, Project Spirit is a 1975 Ford Maverick. Her inline 6 was rated like 85 horses from the factory. Not much. But in a lot of videos, you'll see me slide around corners, doing things that other vehicles do even today with a lot more power. What gives? That's because everything around that inline 6, that very anemic inline 6, locks up and does a great job. Then there's also physics that are involved that most of you don't get, but we'll just say horsepower numbers is the only thing that you kids worry about, and then you wonder why old school guys like me are still locking up and outrunning you. Duh, there's more to it than just a horsepower number. Which brings me to my final one. Turbos and superchargers are no replacement for good engine builds. Many of you make this serious mistake. You'll buy it maybe slightly used or brand new from the factory. You'll go ahead and void the warranty and start putting the aftermarket turbos and everything on it. And guess what? You are now making the same mistake that a lot of people have made over the years. Back in the 60s and 70s, yes, we had tremendous amount of power being put down to the pavement by those big, nasty carbureted engines, but when you got into the internals of the engine, you found out there were serious imperfections. Every car manufacturer, when an engineer sits down and designs an engine, they design it perfect. When it goes into production, it's not so perfect. So, you're not getting the best bang for your buck. That's why you'll hear me constantly say, when it comes to engine building, the smartest thing that anybody could do is turn right around and get a balance and blueprint. So all the turbos, all the superchargers in the world aren't going to make a difference, because guess what? Today, there's still levels of tolerances that have to be figured in for these engines that when they go into mass production, guess what? You're still not getting the best bang for your buck. There's going to be indiscrepancies in your engine, so guess what? In the end, all you're doing is cutting the life of your oil. You're putting more stress, more wear and tear on your engine, and it's not even running at its best anyways, because it's not been balanced and blueprinted to begin with. So those of you who make that mistake and just start slapping it on there, you bring it to a car show or a car meet, and then you start talking my ear off about how awesome this turbo is, guess what? I'm already laughing at you, because inside that engine, it's still stock. So there you have it, folks. So if you want to be a douchebag, go ahead and ignore every last one of these things, and I promise you, you're going to look awfully dumb in front of an old school hot rodder like me. So that brings us to the usual spot. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you're real savvy, you're going to hit that bell icon, and you'll be notified every time we upload a brand new video. As always, get out there and work on a project. Don't care what it is, just do something with yourself. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet. And as always, for every last one of you out there, if nobody out there has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.
Who said that? Who the fuck said that? Who's the slimy little communist shit twinkle-toed cocksucker down here who just signed his own death warrant?